If you're looking at your tomato plants right now and seeing yellow leaves, or you're noticing dropped flowers that never set fruit, maybe the tomatoes themselves are cracking, or you've spotted those dreaded black patches on the bottom of the fruit, I want you to know something right now before we go any further. Not one of those problems is your fault. Welcome to today's explainer. Every single problem you're seeing has a specific cause and a very specific fix, and I promise you by the end of this you'll know exactly what to do. Make sure you stay with me for reason 9, because that one genuinely surprises even veteran gardeners who have been growing tomatoes for 30 years. Let's get right into the list.
So just to confirm our visual check, yellowing leaves, dropped flowers, cracking tomatoes, and black patches on the bottom. If you're dealing with any of these, you are in the exact right place. Like I said, every problem has a specific cause and a specific fix, and we're going to solve them all today.
Moving right along, reason 1 is nitrogen deficiency. If your leaves are turning yellow from the bottom up, it's not a disease and it isn't overwatering. The plant is simply sacrificing its lower leaves to send nutrients upward. The fix is really simple. Just apply a properly diluted liquid tomato feed once every 7 to 10 days, starting the moment you see those yellow lower leaves. You'll see things green up within 10 to 14 days, but remember, once you see those first flowers appear, you'll want to switch over to a high potash feed to support the fruit instead of the leaves.
Keeping that momentum going, reason 2 is temperature stress. This is exactly why your flowers are dropping before setting fruit. For cold nights, the specific fix is to cover your plants with horticultural fleece right after sunset. For hot days, give them an afternoon shade cloth and a deep, consistent base watering every single morning. And please, never water the foliage in the heat, because that just invites disease.
All right, let's slow things down just a bit. Reason 3 is curling leaves. Now, there are 3 distinct types here, and only one is actually serious, so there's no need to panic. If the lower leaves are curling inward because of heat stress, do nothing. That is just normal protective behavior. If the upper leaves are curling upward, that's from inconsistent watering. The fix there is to water deeply at the exact same time every morning. But if the upper leaves are curling downward and have a purple underside, that's a virus. You have to remove that plant immediately.
So drop a comment below right now and let me know which of these first 3 problems your tomatoes are showing this season. I read every single comment, and knowing what you're dealing with really helps me out.
Let's move on to reason 4, blossom end rot. That's that dark, leathery patch on the bottom of your tomato. I really need you to know this is a calcium pathway problem. It is absolutely not a disease. The fix comes in 2 parts. First, water deeply and consistently every single morning, no exceptions. Second, apply a liquid calcium foliar spray directly to the leaves every 10 days, starting from when the first fruits begin to form. And definitely mulch heavily around the base to keep all that good moisture locked right in.
Reason 5 is cracking and splitting. This simply happens when a dry plant suddenly takes up a massive amount of water and the skin just splits right open under the pressure. The fix here is strict consistency. Water deeply every single morning at the exact same time. Apply a 10-centimeter deep mulch of grass clippings or straw around every plant to hold that soil moisture steady. And if you do spot a cracked fruit, get it harvested immediately before any disease can set in. Let's pause for just a moment. If you look at what we've covered, 4 of the first 5 problems share one root cause: inconsistent watering. Fixing your watering routine alone eliminates 4 of the 9 problems immediately. Just watering deeply every morning at the same time. Now remember, reason 9 is still coming, and I promise it surprises even the most experienced growers.
Moving right along. Reason 6 is powdery mildew. It's that white or gray powder you see on the leaves, and it is entirely treatable and preventable. For treatment, mix exactly 1 teaspoon of baking soda plus 1 liter of water plus 1 drop of washing up liquid. Spray this every 5 days until it clears up completely. For prevention, just make sure you have a 60-centimeter spacing between your plants for good airflow, and remove the lower leaves up to 30 centimeters from the ground.
Before we hit reason 7, leave a comment telling me whether your tomatoes are in pots or in the ground this year. And hey, if you're finding this explainer helpful, please hit subscribe. It's completely free, and it means you'll never miss an explainer like this one.
Let's steadily look at reason 7, tomatoes not turning red. If they are fully sized but just stubbornly green or yellow, you've got either a heat problem or a shading problem. In excessive heat, the chemistry that makes that red color simply stops working. The fix is to harvest them at the very first sign of color change and ripen them indoors at room temperature for 4 to 7 days, making sure to keep them away from direct sunlight. If it's just a shading problem, simply snip away the leaves that are directly covering the developing fruit. Reason 8 is leggy, weak stems. This is almost always caused by insufficient light. Tomatoes absolutely require a minimum of 6 to 8 hours of direct sun daily. Now, if you already have leggy transplants, don't just pop them in a shallow hole. You want to dig a deep, angled trench and bury that stem completely, right up to the lowest true leaves. That buried stem is going to produce roots along its entire length, building a remarkably strong root system for your plant.
And now, reason 9. I'm going to slow down completely here, because this is the payoff. This is the mistake that quietly costs thousands of gardeners their harvest every single year without them ever understanding why. Reason 9 is side shoots on indeterminate or cordon varieties. These are secondary stems that sprout right in the junction between the main stem and the leaf stems. If you don't pinch them out, they aggressively compete with your plant for fruit-producing energy. The plant wastes enormous resources growing all of that extra stem and leaf, and your actual tomatoes suffer immensely as a result.
But the fix for this takes just 30 seconds per plant once a week. Just check those main stem junctions weekly. If you see a small shoot in there, smaller than your little finger, gently snap it out with your fingers. For any larger shoots you might have missed, cut them cleanly with a sharp pair of scissors. If you do this weekly, you are going to see a dramatic increase in fruit set and visible fruit size within 2 to 3 weeks of starting. This is the one that changes everything.
So, to recap everything in one breath, you need a nitrogen feed for yellow leaves, temperature management for dropped flowers, careful diagnosis for curling leaves, calcium for blossom end rot, consistent watering for splitting, a baking soda spray for mildew, heat and shade management for ripening, deep trenching for leggy stems, and crucial side shoot removal.
If you learned something new today, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next explainer. And right now, leave a comment answering these 2 questions. Which reason didn't you know before today? And are your tomatoes in pots or in the ground? I read every single comment. Happy growing and take very good care of those plants.